Welcome to a severely deranged deep dive into the world of dance moms. There will be 2 or 3 videos depending on how long this first part is, so subscribe for them. Before we get into the episodes, let's meet the parents and dancers. So there is Abby Lee Miller, who is the teacher. Then there's Melissa, who is Maddie and Mackenzie's mom. Holly and Nia. Christy and Chloe. Kelly, Brooke and Paige. Kathy and Vivienne. Kathy owns Candy Apple's dance studio and later becomes the ALDC biggest rival. Jill and Kendall don't join the studio until later, so we'll introduce them when they come. Season 1, Episode 1. Not much happens in this episode worth talking about. While rehearsing the group dance, Maddie isn't feeling well and runs out.
Maddie, it looks like she's gonna throw up. Go.
Kathy brings Vivienne into audition for the ALDC and Abby is not impressed.
Kathy came into my studio and her daughter Vivi auditioned. I thought it was ridiculous. She demanded that she be in this competition this weekend. That's not realistic. There is no way Vivienne is ready to compete this weekend.
The next scene is honestly iconic. This is when we meet Pastor Dawn, who ends up in a screaming match with Abby because her daughter showed up to class wearing socks and a t-shirt. Abby ends up calling the police because the pastor is following her around screaming, which is hilarious.
May I speak to you a minute?
No, in person.
I want to speak to you. You don't throw my kid out of class. I paid for class.
She's not dressed appropriately.
I'm looking at every single kid out here, Abby. They all look like children. Isn't that crazy that children look like children? She's dressed appropriately.
You're the minister.
Yes, I am a minister. Let's play the Bible game, Abby. When Jesus saw things that were wrong, he went after it. And I'll tell you what, you're not going to do this to my kid.
Out of the room. Out. Out. Reagan, goodbye. Out. Out.
You're not throwing her out.
Oh, yes, I am. And you with her. Go.
No, you're not.
Yes. Every week we put the trash out. Go.
Then take yourself out because you're the biggest piece of trash there is.
You cannot take acrobatic class in socks. I told you to close the tuck in your 2-piece costume. There's a big difference. How can you remember that and you can't remember to turn your feet out? Huh? That's pathetic. Go somewhere else. Take your money. Take your kid. Take your socks. Find another school.
Does it not hit in your head that maybe you're wrong?
No.
Do you not get it?
I don't get it. I know I'm right.
Why are you right?
It's my building. My name's on the front.
So what? You keep telling her how stupid she is.
She's
You know
not
what?
stupid. She just can't read. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
So you're saying I'm stupid?
Well,
Are
we
you?
don't.
No! I got more education than you will ever have. Than you will ever have. Because I went to school. Unfortunately, you
I
didn't.
have your phone.
Call the police. Go for it.
I'm sorry,
Go
girls.
for it.
There's a psycho in every batch.
A psycho. Yes, her name's Abigail Miller.
Hi, I need police at 7123 Salzburg.
You okay, Dawn? No. Okay?
No, I'm not.
I have a parent that's out of control.
I can't stand her.
Pardon? She does not have weapons, just her mouth. Coming up on...
The girls go to competition, go on stage and dance and win third. A trio with Maddie, Paige, and Chloe win first place. That's about all there is to say about this episode. Season 1, Episode 2. This episode is definitely controversial, in my opinion, and I think the episode name, Wildly Inappropriate, speaks volumes. The description for this episode is the moms allow their girls to wear revealing outfits in a competition and scandal ensues. Meanwhile, Abby's new racy routine raises eyebrows, like this episode is giving cutie vibes. So this episode was an episode of firsts, the Maddie-Chloe showdown, Christy's hilarious one-liners, and the whole everyone is jealous of Maddie theory. This week's pyramid is okay, the winning trio is on the top spots, followed by Nia and Brooke on the bottom spots. Abby announces they're going to Lancaster, and the group dance is called Electricity, and it was going to be hot and sexy. Her words, not mine. There's a lot wrong with this number, but the irony is they're performing this dance in an Amish country. Abby then assigns Maddie and Chloe solos. When the team arrives at competition, Chloe goes on first and performs her solo Baby Mine. When I first seen this solo, I didn't really like it, but having rewatched it, I actually think Chloe did a great job and the solo was cute. Then Maddie takes the stage. Her solo was good. I don't know if it's my favorite of hers, but she danced well.
And I don't want to do anything but cry.
Now for the group dance, they went on stage and did as they were taught. The funniest thing is while the girls were dancing, the edit kept cutting to horrified members of the audience.
This is definitely not a dance I want anyone.
The group dance never placed, but is anyone really surprised about that? This whole episode raised a bigger question. When does it turn into exploitation? But calling this dance hot and sexy, Abby definitely crossed a line. By bringing that notion across, gives the audience no choice but to view these kids in a sexualized way. This should never have been performed in front of men and the cameras. This episode should never have existed. Season 1, Episode 3. The pyramid was typical. Maddie was on top because she won Petite Miss Starquest. Chloe was second, even though she placed first and would have won Junior Miss Starquest if she were entered. Brooke was third on the pyramid, which was fine. She deserved it and no one complained until Abby explained her plans for this week. Abby decided to choreograph an acro number, and as everyone knows, Brooke is by far the best acrobat out of all the girls. Kelly was not too happy that Brooke wasn't on the top of the pyramid for a week. They were doing an acro routine. I'll cut her some slack since this is only the third week. But Abby judges the pyramid based on last week's performance, not the upcoming week. If she did a pyramid based on what hasn't happened yet, that would make no sense unless she could see the future. Also, Vivienne is officially on the team, and with the team is her spot on the pyramid, which was at the very bottom. You have to work your way up there. To help her along, Abby awarded her with her very own solo at this week's competition at Starbound in New Jersey. After the pyramid, the moms retreated upstairs and Kelly proceeded to complain about how Brooke's not on the top of the pyramid. Melissa tries to explain that Abby's probably using the results from the last competition and that has nothing to do with the upcoming competition, but Kelly doesn't listen. Then, Kathy chimes in and all of the moms start to complain about the pyramid, most prominently Holly. Kelly continues to complain about Abby misplacing Brooke on the pyramid until she finally gets up the courage to confront Abby. When she asks Abby why Brooke hasn't been placing higher on the pyramid, Abby simply states that Brooke isn't committing to dance as much as the others. As Abby explained, Brooke is going through that teenage phase where she wants to have a social life and a life in general besides dance.
Likes to punish her.
You can do it, Kelly.
I don't think that has anything to do with the acro dance.
Ready?
Abby,
Yes.
I think we need to
What you
talk.
said? What?
What's the problem with us?
She's an acro dancer.
She's not at the top of the pyramid for the week of an acro dance?
It's just because she's always brooding and miserable. That's not the Brooke I know. Brooke is kind of going through that junior high business that they all go through, and she really is an amazing acrobat, and I don't want her to lose that or give that up.
She's at the bottom of the pyramid, Abby. You mean to tell me Chloe is above her in the pyramid in her gymnastics? I mean, when does Brooke go on stage and not pull it off? She always
Well,
does.
look at the video of the top dance.
Well, she's not a tapper.
Yeah,
But an
yeah.
acro dance?
Brooke used to be Abby's favorite. She had her front and center in every number, had her having 900 privates every week, and I think Abby burns you out.
The Brooke you know is now a teenager and is changing.
Well, you need to nip that in the bud because you don't want her to change.
Maybe she wants to do teenage things.
I don't think it's that easy. I've seen changes already, and it saddens me, Kelly.
What, am I gonna force her to come to class?
Yes, it's really hard to get through to them and say, but you have this gift Don't throw it all away. I know you're very happy with your life. You have a wonderful house. You have a wonderful husband. You got a nice guy. But Kelly, think of what you could have been. You settled. You settled, and you're letting your kid do the same thing.
If my mom would have told me I had to come to dance class, I would have rebelled against it.
And Kelly was my student. She was gorgeous and worked really hard and was very dedicated up until about 12 or 13. And now the same thing's happening with Brooke, like mother, like daughter.
I mean, they're kids, Abby.
I know, but she's not. She's 13 years old.
Cheerleading, all of her friends from school cheer. So I think that's why Brooke wants to...
So you're gonna send her to cheerleading so she can shake her pom-poms for some boy to go to college for free? Brooke wants to be a professional performer. But the last time I checked, Cirque du Soleil doesn't hire cheerleaders. Let's go. Let's get back to work.
Abby's crazy. I don't think Abby's ever forgiven me for quitting dance. You know, I've moved on. I have a life. I have a family now. And at the end of the day, all Abby has is an empty studio.
No matter what I said, I wasn't getting ahead. Like, that's not fair.
Open it up, come down.
It's the acro number. Brooke should be featured, whether she wants to come to dance.
Brooke was complaining that her hip was hurting, so Kelly brought her to the chiropractor. The doctor warned them that Brooke should not be dancing this weekend because it could be highly dangerous to her injury. However, they decide not to listen to the professional doctor and compete anyways, which usually would be a big no-no, but I'm pretty sure the injury was fabricated a bit for television. Abby advised Brooke that she needed to grind down the hip bone and open her turnout more. Brooke, apparently, doesn't trust Abby, with her vast experience and knowledge in dance, but it turns out Abby was right all along because she hasn't been in pain since.
Brooke, what's taking too long? Brooke must have injured her hip several weeks ago, and it's now inflamed, and it's bothering her because we're doing all these new routines.
I have to figure this out. What? Okay, do you want me to see if I can take you to the chiropractor real quick?
On the way to the competition, Kathy is nowhere to be found on the bus because of her bus sickness last week. Instead, she's driving with Vivienne to the competition all by herself. When they arrive at the competition, Abby immediately has a situation on her hands. Vivi's solo music is missing. Kathy chooses this moment to nonchalantly mention that Vivienne is going to do a solo that Kathy taught her because she was uncomfortable with the solo Abby taught her. However, Kathy still expects Abby to put the solo under her name, even though she didn't choreograph it. Abby, who is incredibly flustered and annoyed, agrees with it partly because she really doesn't want to deal with Kathy.
First, and that's Vivienne, right?
No, it's not my pumps. It's called Bumblebee.
Bumblebee? But what's...
Yes, you want to come with me?
What is this?
That's what I'm confused about. We need to, okay.
Kathy.
Yes?
What is with this little rocket music?
Vivi was uncomfortable with the solo that we worked on because she had such a lack of rehearsal time. And so we are going to go ahead and do a piece that she already knows.
Our whole team is there to root for Vivienne so that she feels like part of the company. Kathy informs me that she's going to do another routine. I'm like, what?
I don't blame her. When Vivienne was performing, you could tell that Vivienne was capable of doing a lot more than what was in the routine. Kathy probably taught her it a year ago when she was still learning the basics. At least I hope that's the case. The real action started after the solo during Vivienne's awards ceremony. She ended up placing 7th, and when she was asked her choreographer and studio name, Vivienne said her mother's name and studio.
Who taught you this number? Kathy Stein. And the name of your dance studio? Minneapolis Dance Center.
Vivienne said her mother's studio.
Abby looked livid and automatically suspected it was on purpose. However, Kathy convinced Abby that it was just one big mistake and that they need to move on. So, Abby forgives her, but it's a bit too soon for forgiveness.
My entire group of people that we had sitting there watching her flipped.
I apologize. Not all competitions ask those questions, and I just didn't even think about it, so I apologize.
All I have in this world is my name. Whether it be in a local competition
It will not happen again.
in a Broadway audition, it is my name.
I know, Abby, and it won't happen again.
Because that was embarrassing.
You need to move on. We're going to move on. We
moved on
can
from
move.
that.
Yeah, look,
From the wrong costume.
We can move
We moved on from the wrong
We're
outfits.
moving on.
We moved
Moving on
I know,
up.
but
Abby, I
this
know,
is my name.
I know how you.
Immediately after they return to the green room, Kathy announces that Vivienne and her were leaving instead of watching the group dance that was performing later on in the day. Everyone was upset, especially the mothers, who had to wake up early in the morning to head to a competition that their kids didn't need to be at until much later in the day, right before the girls head to the stage to perform their group dance. Brooke has a mini meltdown. She was probably just overwhelmed and nervous about her hip injury. She calmed down pretty fast with the help of her mom. The group dance wound up winning the Special Judges Award and first overall. Season 1, Episode 4. For the first time in Dance Mom's history, someone besides Maddie is on the top of the pyramid. Congratulations, Brooke, for being first on the pyramid, even though you don't care. I'm not making a dig at Brooke, that's literally what she said.
It feels good to be on top of the pyramid, but I don't really care. Like, it doesn't matter to me whether I'm on the bottom or the top.
I guess she was trying to be modest, but if I were on the top of the pyramid, I'd be jumping up and down, praising Jesus, and then probably have to be escorted out of the room. For being on the top of the pyramid, Brooke was awarded a solo along with basically everyone else on the team. During rehearsal, it's immediately revealed that Maddie has been awarded 2 solos instead of 1. She's doing her previous solo, Cry, and a tap solo that she competes every year as part of her tap private. I go back and forth on whether I thought it was acceptable for Maddie to have 2 solos. The girls, specifically Chloe and Maddie, sometimes dance more than 1 solo when at competitions. It's just this time that Dance Moms decided to show it. I think the fact that it was solo week and everyone was each getting a solo made it slightly controversial. Kathy was not happy about the solo week, because it meant that Vivienne would have to dance her Bumblebee solo, which Kathy is not a fan of. Vivienne is obviously not the biggest fan of dancing at this point. I know a lot has changed since then, but when she was 6, Vivienne told her mom several times that she doesn't want to dance anymore, and I think Kathy took this as Vivienne not wanting to do the solo. Vivienne never voiced that she wasn't comfortable with the new choreography, just that she wasn't comfortable with dancing in general. The moms went out to lunch to Mohan's, which should definitely be a landmark shown on the Dance Moms Pittsburgh tour that will probably never happen, but I'm secretly wishing will. Of course, Kathy spends this free time trying to explain to the other moms why she is, in fact, better than all of them. Please enlighten us, Kathy. Apparently, since she's a dance teacher, Kathy is being charged double what the other moms are being charged for dance. Since she's paying more, Kathy is automatically invited into the secret society at the Abbey Lee Dance Company, consisting of only her, where she can ignore certain rules that needed to be followed, like riding the bus, staying to cheer on the rest of the teammates, and having your child perform the correct solo at competitions. I'm glad you sorted that out for us, Kathy. Back at the studio, Mackenzie is practicing her solo. She takes the quote of the day when she says, "I don't want to be on Broadway. All I want to do is stay home and eat chips. Well, aren't you just so precious?" During Chloe's rehearsal, I had a small revelation. I'm not afraid to admit that back in Season 1 I was a typical Dance Moms watcher, who only really grasped what the producers wanted me to grasp. I was a hardcore Chloe fan and I didn't like Maddie at all. In the second season, I finally woke up and realized what an amazingly sweet girl Maddie is. What attributed to my Season 1 haze was partly Maddie and Chloe's attitudes towards everything. In this episode, when asked about their dancing, Maddie said, "I don't like to lose, but I don't ever lose anyways," and Chloe said, "I think my biggest competition is Maddie because she's an amazing dancer. Some people have told me that I'm a good dancer too." Chloe is just a lot more modest than Maddie in Season 1. Of course, I don't hold this against Maddie because she was 9 and probably didn't mean it the way it sounded. However, that's the way it sounded, and it's what mainly caused the comparing between Chloe and Maddie, at least for me. Another Dance Moms lunch date appeared in this episode, this time at Christy's house where she served sandwiches and delicious-looking cupcakes. It was basically set up to convince Melissa to pull one of Maddie's solos. To level the playing field, Melissa's first instinct is to use her refusal skills and just say no, but Holly's already 2 steps ahead of her and asks her what would be her reasons for not doing it. Melissa tries to deflect the situation and says that she doesn't think the other moms would do something like that. Then, Christy pulls out the big guns and reveals that she pulled one of Chloe's solos when Chloe was given 2 during a solo week because all of the girls deserved a chance to shine. All out of cards, Melissa decides to fold and just drop the subject altogether, refusing to say any more about it. It's now the day before the competition and Abby is teaching an acro class. All of the moms are upset except for Melissa and Kathy because they feel like their girls need more practice. I think this is partly because most of the girls were given new music for their old routines, because of copyright issues. The only girls who were doing new dances were Chloe, Mackenzie, and maybe Brooke. Paige and Nia's solos were previous solos, but to new music that they got the night before the competition. Vivienne was doing a solo she learned a week or 2 ago, and Maddie was doing a previous solo as well as a solo she'd been practicing throughout the year. Paige and Nia just needed to run through their dances with the new music, but Abby thought they didn't need any extra practice because they've known these dances forever. So, Abby was left confused, Melissa was left mad because she thought the moms' hostility was because of her, and the rest of the moms were left frustrated. Now, on to the competition. Maddie and Mackenzie started out the solos, with Maddie's tap solo and Mackenzie's little mouse solo that was too cute for words. Next was Vivi's solo, and she was doing pretty well, up until she tripped over herself and fell, making her flustered and causing her to dance 8 counts ahead of the music, so she finished her solo early. I find it funny how last week when Vivienne made a mistake doing Kathy's routine, Kathy calls it a boo-boo and doesn't think anything about it, but when Vivienne makes a mistake in her new routine by Abby, Kathy acts like Vivienne messed up everything. On their way out of the competition, because they once again didn't stay, Kathy states that she doesn't feel like part of the group and she's having a hard time fitting in. Is this a joke? Didn't you just say a half an hour ago that you're on a different page, and that you're part of the team but not part of the team? No? That didn't happen? Okay then, during Brooke's solo she gets a neck burn while performing her chin stand spinny thing. Nia forgets part of her dance, but she just pulls out her improv skills and hit it out of the park. It was an epic Nia moment, which we don't see a lot of nowadays. You go Nia! Now, the saddest moment of the episode. During her solo, Paige freezes on stage. Outside of the episode, Abby said the reason she froze was because she forgot her tuck, then it was all downhill from there, but I think it has something to do with the music. I know you're supposed to rely on counts while dancing, but music always helps, and when you receive your music the night before the competition and have little to no time to rehearse with your new music, it's bound to have an impact on your performance. Before Chloe goes on stage, Maddie gives her a big hug for good luck and says, "I love you, Chloe." Maddie was actually wearing the costume for their duet Everlasting Friends, which dance moms have yet to show us. Coincidence? I think not. While performing, Chloe messes up on a set of turns and I'm not surprised. She was one of the only girls to learn a new solo, and it was the first time she learned a solo in a week. She usually has more time to correct her mistakes. Remember, all of these girls are still transitioning. The awards ceremony, Chloe places 4th in her solo, Maddie's tap solo places 3rd, and Maddie's lyrical solo wins 1st. Brooke also placed 4th for her solo, but that apparently wasn't important enough to mention. Interesting fact, the girls also performed 3 group dances, winning 1st, 2nd, and 4th. When Maddie was announced the winner, Melissa turned around to Christy and asked if she was happy that Maddie was undefeated. I thought that was way too mean of Melissa. She would never wave Maddie's victories in someone else's face. I'm almost positive that she said this after Maddie and Chloe's duet won 1st, again, making it undefeated. However, the producers clipped it to make it look like Melissa was being a terrible person. By the end of the competition, Christy was very upset. She was mad that Maddie was given to solos, that Maddie beat Chloe twice in the same competition, that Melissa didn't pull one of the solos, and a lot of other things. So, she decides to attack Abby and Melissa with words. Holly states it pretty clear in her little diary room entry, in between the cursing and the screaming. It was incredibly embarrassing on Christy's account, not to mention she made to little girls, who are basically daughters to her, cry. If she felt so strongly about it, she should have spoken to Abby or Melissa about it in a civilized manner at another time. The worst is that all of the viewers were on Team Christy. I love Christy, but she was out of control and out of line at the end of this episode. By the next episode, not even Christy was on Team Christy. Just because you like Christy doesn't mean that she gets a free pass to make children cry and harass and scream at to grown adults. Luckily, in the next episode, Christy will right her wrongs. Season 1, Episode 5. Christy and Kelly were put on flyer duty by Abby and were instructed to walk around downtown Pittsburgh with a box of ALDC showcase flyers. They meet one man who just auditioned for a show called Naked Boys, singing, and Christy thought it was a joke. That, or she was a little tipsy from the mommy juice she was drinking a little while ago. Either way, they end up running out of flyers, turning their adventure into a success. Back at the studio, Chloe gets in trouble for not having her hair up during class when Abby walks in. Abby is even more furious when she finds out that Jonna had asked Chloe for times before she came in. Chloe starts to cry and it just breaks my heart. I don't like it when any of the girls cry, but I feel like Chloe always tries to stay very strong and not cry. So, when she does, it's especially heart-wrenching. However, why she didn't just put her hair up in the first place, I have no idea. At the next mom's dance rehearsal, Christy arrives on time, but Holly's a no-show. When Kathy calls Holly, Holly admits that she's not going to be at the showcase because she's getting her doctorate on the same day. Kathy thinks that Holly isn't dedicated to dance, and it reflects on Nia's dancing, which is a bunch of poop because all of the moms are extremely dedicated. Earning your doctorate completely upstages a showcase on level of importance. Let's be realistic here. The Broadway casting director finally arrives at the studio before the showcase to hold auditions for some of Abby's students. I found it funny how Melissa said that the casting director was coming to see Maddie and just didn't mention Mackenzie. I know Mackenzie was too young and was really just auditioning for the experience, but I just remember thinking, wait a second, Melissa has 2 children. None of the girls did exceptionally well during their auditions. Chloe went first and she got so nervous that before she went in she started to cry. Next was Nia, whose mom was at school preparing for her graduation. Nia forgot the words to Tomorrow. Paige forgot a part of her dance she was performing and Brooke gets corrected while reading lines. Mackenzie refuses to sing in front of the casting director, which I find ironic because Mackenzie is an amazing singer and probably the best out of all of the girls. Even Maddie got nervous after her audition because she thought she messed up a part of her dance. Only Kathy was cool as a cucumber and couldn't understand why everyone was so frazzled. The next day, Kathy and Melissa went out to shop for jewelry for the mom's dance costume. However, not even defeat in the door, Kathy immediately started to shop for herself. I finally found something Kathy and I have in common: shopping. I can spend all day shopping without even breaking a sweat, and one of the purses that Kathy was looking at I wanted to snatch for myself. Oops. While the moms and the girls were rushing through their dress rehearsal, it reminded me of when I played dance mom for my sister's spring recital. I've never seen her so stressed yet so excited at the same time. As you may know, I love rushing and being busy, so having to help her with all of those quick changes was a blast. However, I don't know how the real dance moms get it done. I think it was Christy who said that they had one number to change costumes, hair and makeup. When it was time for the girls to rehearse Sugar Daddies, Abby was furious that the props weren't ready yet, which added just another thing the moms had to do in between numbers. During the showcase, it was finally time for the moms to have their big one. Episode 6. Pyramid started like this: Maddie, Chloe, Paige, Brooke, Nia, Vivienne, Mackenzie. This episode has one of my favorite dances from the show. Where have all the children gone? I like how spooky the music sounds, and the dancers dancing and emotion just makes the piece. Brooke also does a solo called Like a Supermodel, and Maddie does a solo called Beautiful. In the episode, Chloe tells her mother she doesn't want to dance anymore. Christy is determined to keep her dancing. She sat down with Chloe and told her how talented she is and not to throw all the talent away for Abby. It wouldn't be a Dance Moms Season 1 episode without some Kathy drama. Brooke was using one of Vivienne for her routine. A couple of minutes before Brooke was due on stage, Kathy decided she didn't want Brooke using the top. She demanded the top back, leaving Brooke flustered before her performance. At the competition, Maddie places first in the 9 to 11 solo division. Brooke placed 6th. I honestly believe the top drama had a hand in that. At the end of the episode, Kathy announces she is not coming back to Abby's. Season 1 Episode 7. It's solo week. All the girls have a solo. The group dance is called Make You Mine. It's a fun, cute number. In this episode, we also see the first instance of Abby typecasting Nia. Nia's dance is called La Quifa. Honestly, Nia performed this solo great, but I hated this solo. Nia should have been gave something better because she's a star. This is the first time we see fighter Holly, and rightfully so. She calls Abby out for typecasting Nia. Maddie's solo is called Angel. It's a typical Maddie solo, and she performed the solo great like she always does. I also like the fact she dedicated it to her grandmother who had passed away. Halfway through rehearsal, Melissa comes into the studio to tell Abby Pastor Dawn is here to see her. Abby pulls out the contract, which is a classic Abby move. Pastor Dawn tells Abby she's not going to pay her unpaid bills, and Abby threatens to sue. At competition, the group dance goes first. The dance wasn't performed great, if I'm being honest. Nia was a beat behind everyone, and when the girls come off stage, the producers make it look like Maddie says we were terrible, but if you look, her lips didn't even move, which is shady. The group dance places second, which honestly I'm surprised about. Maddie places first, which is expected at this point. Mackenzie and Vivienne do a duet that is briefly showed. Brooke's solo placed third, Chloe placed 6th, and Nia's solo didn't place. Season 1 Episode 8. This week, Abby brought in a boy called Brandon and practically forced Brooke and Brandon to go on a date, which was so awkward. The group dance was called Snapshot, which didn't even place. It was pretty bad. Nia has a solo called Bollywood, and it was great. She placed first, so well done, Nia. Maddie also has a solo called Universe, which also placed first. Mackenzie and Vivienne were supposed to do a duet, but Kathy never showed up to Pyramid, and when she did show up, it was to tell Abby she was leaving. Abby calls Kathy a quitter and she leaves. So Kathy is not on the team anymore. Season 1 Episode 9. Chloe finds herself at the top of the pyramid for the first time. Maddie was given a week off, which is a weird thing to say. The group dance is called Sinful. It placed 7th. Brooke has a solo called Metamorphosis, which placed 3rd. Chloe does a solo called Missing You, which did not place. Same thing for Nia. She does a solo that doesn't place. For some reason, Abby put the studio name under Collins Avenue instead of Abby Lee Dance Company. The competition ended up banning Collins Avenue from attending any future competitions. Season 1 Episode 10. Kathy brings it on. This is the first episode we see ALDC and CADC go head-to-head. Kelly hires a choreographers to give Brooke and Paige an edge at this week's competition. The group dance was called My Pumps. It placed 3rd. Mackenzie done an acro solo, which placed 1st. It was called Snake Charmer, and it was adorable. Chloe done a solo called Dream on a Stat that placed 1st, and Maddie's solo called Disappear places 2nd. Paige does her dance from last week, Tongue Twister, which placed 6th. CADC at a couple of dances entered. Justice and Vivienne done a duet called Rock and Roll, which didn't place. Honestly, if Justice done a solo, I feel like that would have been better. It's painfully obvious that Justice is miles ahead of Vivienne. They also had a soloist called Taylor who didn't place. Season 10 Episode 11. The episode starts off with Melissa saying she is going to have no bad thoughts this season. Abby calls out Holly for not being present at Pyramid. Next, she announces she will be holding open auditions to replace Vivienne. First up on the Pyramid is Mackenzie. Abby tells her she's no longer a baby. Next is Brooke and Paige because she took a break and didn't show up to class. Next is Nia. I think Abby was a little unfair in this scene. Telling Nia her mother doesn't care if she wins a title is a little harsh. Nia was right. As long as she is at the studio, she can dance and learn. Next is Chloe. She was front and center in a music video. Christy throws shade that Chloe wasn't on top of the pyramid. And lastly, we have Maddie. She won a national title, so she got top spot. The competition this week is dance troops in North Carolina. The group routine is called Sassy Dolls. During the rehearsal, Christy brings up the fact Maddie was on top of the pyramid. She feels because Chloe got the music video she should have been. Honestly, I feel like both Maddie and Chloe deserve to be top of the pyramid. Chloe got her first professional job and Maddie won a national title. Both of them should be recognized as achievements. For some reason, we get a glimpse of Kathy's team even though they aren't competing. It's more like watching Kathy copying Abby's pyramid and her slamming Abby's teaching. Holly returns from work and the mothers spill the beans about what Abby was saying to Nia. Holly goes and talks to Abby. After the confrontation, we see the open auditions. Abby is cutting people left and right and the mothers are watching with eagle eyes. One of the people in the audition was Peyton. Her mother is Leslie, and honestly, I'm not feeling Leslie. I think Peyton is a great dancer, but she looks out of place dancing with the ALDC girls. At the end of the auditions, there's like 5 people left standing. Abby asks some of the girls to step forward, leaving Peyton and then telling her she's not right for the team. One person who is right for the team through is Kendall, who was picked at this audition. After the auditions and Leslie confronts Abby about not picking Peyton, I honestly agree with Abby in this case. I mean, not to like tall shame or anything, but Peyton just looks too mature to be dancing with 8-year-olds, but Leslie demands Abby finds her a spot. Jill is pretty crazy, but I've grown to love her and the team wouldn't be the same without Kendall. However, we come to learn Jill is a studio hopper. At the competition, Maddie does her solo. She danced great. I think I forgot to mention at the start, but Chloe also had a solo. She danced great as well. Next is Nia. Nia danced wonderfully, but you can see a huge difference in choreography and dance-wise how behind the other girls Nia is. Next, Kendall does her solo. She danced good, a little fast, but I will forgive her because it was probably the nerves. Chloe took first place in the Junior Overall Award. Maddie also took first place in the Pre-Junior Awards. Kendall didn't place. The girls next do the group dance and it was messy. I'm surprised it even placed, never mind getting first place. Episode 2 is quite a good episode. A lot of drama happens, but there's also a theme this episode. On the pyramid, Maddie is on top obviously. Next is Chloe and Nia, and on the bottom is Paige, Brooke, Mackenzie, and Kendall, who is on probation. This episode is actually quite entertaining. Kathy is back going head-to-head against ALDC. Kathy is gunning to win even if it means cheating. The group dance is called Bad Apples, which is hilarious and quite smart of Abby. The soloist is Brooke, who is doing a solo called Garden of Eden. She is going up against Kathy's dancer called Erica, who we'll talk about more in a minute. Kathy is doing a Spanish-inspired group dance and Erica is doing a solo call Through the Looking Glass. Erica is an amazing dancer and probably would have won if she was entered in the right category. Kathy lied about her age, which resulted in her being disqualified. Brooke won her solo and the group dance also won in their division. Pyramid is Brooke, Chloe, Maddie, Mackenzie, Paige, Kendall, who is still on probation, and Nia. On this episode, Brooke tries out for cheerleading, which makes Abby mad. Abby said if Brooke wants to shake palms for some guy to go to college for free, then she can, which I mean it's factually true. The Candy Apples are back with a group dance and a solo from Justice. The girls' group dance is called Born to Dance, which is a pretty forgettable dance. Chloe has a solo called Don't Catch Me. Maddie's solo is called Lights, Camera, Action. I don't like this routine. Mackenzie also has a solo called My Parade, which got first in her division. Chloe's solo also got first and Maddie got third. Candy Apples got 8th for their group dance and Justice placed 4th. This week's episode of Dance Moms was crazy. Okay, first of all, Chloe was at the top of the pyramid for the first time this season. Abby surprised everyone at the beginning of the episode and decided to bring in a new girl, Peyton. She's like 8 feet taller than everybody else. This week, Maddie's doing a solo. Chloe is doing a solo, obviously. And then there's a trio, which is Maddie, Chloe, and instead of Paige, they decided to put in Kendall. In this week's group number, Abby decides to do a number about bullying. But she decides to make Nia the bully. Of course, Holly flips out about it, and basically she's like, I don't want my daughter to portray a bully because she's not a mean person. Leslie Payton's mom causes so much drama. I'm sorry, but I don't like this woman. She causes drama, then storms out and cries. It's so annoying. The group dance was good. It was the costumes that put me off. It was like the costume in the Oops, I Did It Again music video. Brooke is back and Kendall is officially on the team the way Abby announced. That Brooke was back was so mean, so she's doing the pyramid. Kendall, Mackenzie, Nia, and Paige are on the bottom. Maddie and Chloe get the middle row, so now everyone is thinking Peyton is on the top. Leslie is trying not to jump for joy. When Abby pulls the paper down, it's Brooke. Peyton cries and Leslie is livid. I mean, it was pretty mean of Abby to do that.
We're gonna give them what they want?
When Abby revealed the center row of the pyramid and it was Chloe and Maddie, I was shocked. I didn't think Peyton performed well enough to be at the top of the pyramid.
Chloe, when you walk backstage into those wings, you have to walk in there with arrogance and your nose up in the air just like you walk in this studio every day. Those other girls should be afraid of you just because you're Chloe and you're from the Abby Lee Dance Company. And on top of the pyramid is Brooke.
Abby unveils the top of the pyramid, and I thought, you get him, sister, because you left and you went and you tried out for cheerleading and you still made it to the top of the pyramid.
No offense to Peyton, but she towers over this dance team. She doesn't fit in with these girls. Now, my little Kendall fits right in perfectly.
I know you all are wondering, how could she be on top of the pyramid? Not only is she going to do a solo this week, and not only should she win, I demand that you win. Peyton, we all know everyone is replaceable. You were not the right replacement for this group. You had a great experience. You saw the gateway to the West. You cannot be upset.
She has a right to be upset, Abby. You dangled a carrot in front of her and you just ripped it away. For what? For her daughter to just come in and take a spot as a stranger? And for Brooke to leave and you take her back? Where is your loyalty? We have been so loyal to you. She stepped in.
Wait a minute.
It's loyalty, Kelly.
We have been loyal to her for 30 years.
How many times have you said she doesn't want to
You
be
left the studio a long time ago.
How dare you? Our history.
Dare me? Peyton got to go to St. Louis. She got to be in the competition. Peyton was on probation. She can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So you are still on probation. It was not about being on the team forever. Somehow her mother got that all twisted in her mind.
You know what, Abby? If you don't want her, we will find somebody that wants her to compete on their team. Peyton, let's go. You can keep your Kendall, and you can keep the rest of your group.
Sometimes you get it, sometimes...
Mackenzie and Brooke are doing solos this week. The group dance is called Avalanche, not my favorite if I'm being honest. Jill and Christy get into a huge fight after Jill says Chloe is a second-place dancer. I thought Christy was going to beat Jill's ass.
How's that pressure, Abby?
Fine.
Good.
Up the pyramid, and she's trying to buy Abby's friendship instead of, you are the new person on the team. Pay your dues.
Holly, this bothers you because you've been an absentee mom. Let's face it. Let's face it. That is what it is.
And I do not need Jill to reprimand me about my attendance. I'm a grown woman, and I do what I need to do for my children.
I don't need to cheat to get ahead like some people, Jill.
That's cheating?
Yes,
Are
it's
you
cheating.
kidding?
I know crazy dance moms, you know, and like we're here, you know, Melissa's here, and Jill's like a whole nother level.
You're acting like little
If
bitchy
I came up with the
schoolgirls.
idea, I would
can't even
never
believe
do
it.
it.
You know
Never.
what? Get over it. It's my
Black bitchy schoolgirl.
I think when Jill first came to our studio, she was...
That's your choice.
This is about
Chloe being second. Chloe,
You're not second. You better not say that again.
What? Where is...
Mackenzie's solo was so cute I smiled the whole way through it. Brooke's solo was also good. It honestly amazes me the things Brooke can do. Mackenzie got first place, which she deserved. Brooke got third, which I thought she should have got first, but I'm not a judge. Mackenzie is on top of the pyramid, then it's Chloe and Maddie, and of course, Paige, Brooke, Nia, Kendall are on the bottom. It's solo week and Abby is fed up with the moms complaining about costumes, so she makes them design new costumes for their kids, but Jill has a closet full of costumes that Abby has never seen before. Kathy holds a big open audition to supplement her candy apples. Brooke's solo is called Who Am I? She placed third. Chloe's solo is called And for the Thrill, she placed second. Kendall's solo is called Sweet Little Lies, she didn't place. Mackenzie's, Nia, and Paige also didn't place. This is the episode where Maddie slips during her from Ariel. Fun fact, the show made it look like Maddie ran off the stage and cried mid-dance, but she kept dancing and cried after she finished. There was no group dance this week. Bullets and Ballet is the 7th episode of the 2nd season of Dance Moms. It first aired on February 21, 2012. Paige is at the top of the pyramid for the first time, but Maddie is at the bottom for the first time. Abby choreographs a Private Eyes-themed dance that involves guns, igniting drama between her and the dance moms. The moms seek to oust Jill when they find her talking to her old studio at the competition they attend. Chloe, Maddie, and Paige do a trip called Over and Over Again. It was a great routine and they performed it great. Chloe had a solo called Please, she looked great on stage. Maddie's solo was called Every Little Step. It was a classic Maddie solo. Christy and Kelly catch Jill chatting up a former dance mom. They're determined to expose her as a studio hopper. The group dance placed first. The duet placed second, and both Maddie and Chloe placed first. Then Kendall left. They didn't actually leave. The group dance was called Head Over Heels. It didn't place. Nia had a solo. That didn't place. I feel so bad. It was Nia's time to shine. I wish she placed. Candy apples were entered in the competition. Their group dance was called A Funeral. It was the most depressing dance I've ever watched. Kendall had a solo called I Think I Like You, which placed first. The choreography looks oddly similar to Abby's. Maybe it's just me. Although the girls danced great, the competition looked fake. At the awards, it was only ALDC and CADC on stage. Mackenzie once again took the quote of the day when she said, "It doesn't matter about the dance, it matters about me. I'm emotional."
Don't put it out. You're making me sad.
Okay, let's not talk to her, please. Please, I don't want to. We're going, ready to go on stage. Just leave her alone.
It doesn't matter about the dance.
I do.
It matters about me.
It does matter about you. Emotional, you're so cute.
Stop it, Mom.
You're so cute, honey. Hey, don't cry.
There's not much to say about episode 9 because it no longer exists. It was called Topless Showgirls, which is weird considering it's a show about children. The reason it's no longer available anyway is because of the costumes of the group dance, which made the girls look naked like showgirls. I remember this episode when it was aired and it was pretty uncomfortable. Pyramid looks like this. Maddie on top, Brooke and Chloe in the middle, Nia, Paige, Mackenzie on the bottom. The group dance is called Reputation, and I really liked this routine. It was fun and cute and definitely fitting for Miami. Chloe, Paige, and Maddie have a trio. Holly is mad that Nia wasn't considered for the trio. Chloe, Maddie, and Nia all have solos. A heart-wrenching moment happens when Nia forgets her solo, but Holly convinced the judges to let her perform again, and she slays it. The group dance got third, which I don't agree with. The trio placed second. Chloe also placed second with her solo. Nia got third and Maddie got first. I think this episode may have shown Abby's good side more than other episodes, because the show always seems to make it like Abby wants them to dance through pain. This time, though, Abby is trying to get Paige to not dance and Paige is insisting. Pyramid this week is Brooke, Mackenzie, and Nia on the bottom. Paige and Chloe in the middle, and Maddie is back on top. The group dance is called Trapped, not the most memorable routines, but it was good. It placed first. Chloe, Nia, and Maddie do a trio called Whatever I Want. This trio didn't place, which is sad. All Nia wanted was a chance to prove herself in a trio. Maddie does a solo called Reflections. This routine is a classic Maddie solo. She dances amazing, and I really like the song to this dance. Melissa is annoyed with the moms. They keep badgering her about her wedding, so she decides to get her attorney to send the moms a letter saying they're not allowed to talk about it anymore. Like, is that even allowed? Can you just demand people stop talking about something like a wedding?
I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to ask you flat out. Did you people get a letter too?
Okay, I was waiting for someone to bring up the letter.
All of the moms received a letter from an attorney saying to cease and desist discussion of Melissa's personal life.
Also, the Candy Apples are back this week. Justice does a solo. He dances really well, but the choreography definitely let him down. His solo didn't place. Their group dance was a clown dance, and it didn't place.
I think it was something about a circus.
I'm watching Taylor, totally not with the group of dancers. She is a beat behind. She looks shaky. I'm very concerned about what's going on. And down she goes.
What is she doing? Oh, God. They were doing really well. And then all of a sudden, they were off. Taylor ran off the stage.
Kelly wants a boob job, which inspires this week's group dance call. Nip and Tuck, the group dance didn't place. Maddie does a solo called Quiet Voices, which places first. Chloe also has a solo, but she didn't place. Two trios went up against each other. The first trio was Maddie, Chloe, and Brooke, and the second trio was Mackenzie, Nia, and Paige. Chloe, Maddie, and Brooke places first. The other trio didn't place. In this mid-season finale of Dance Moms, the girls head to New York to audition for the Joffrey Ballet School in the hopes of winning a scholarship and also to a competition while they stay in New York. Unfortunately for them, Kathy and her Candy Apples also attend, beating them in the group dance category at Starbound.
Congratulations one more time to hurt them first in 10th place.
Our group number came in 10th. We've never come in 10th place. It kind of mortified us a little bit, but it is what it is.
Maddie forgets her dance on stage at the competition and cries, leading Abby to cry as well, much to the mother's dismay. When the moms attack Abby over her At the last competition, Abby ran and left the moms and the girls at the show after Maddie froze on stage and they lost the group number to Candy Apples. But now she is back, with Maddie sitting on the bench until she regains her confidence. Chloe holds the fate of the Abby Lee Dance Company on her shoulders. While at the competition, Abby asks Maddie if she wants to do her solo from last week, but Maddie says no. She doesn't want to take anything away from Chloe. Abby is not happy with this decision and it shows in episodes going forward. On the pyramid page, Mackenzie and Maddie are all on the bottom. Nia and Brooke are in the middle and Chloe is finally back on top. The group dance is called Glam. I actually quite like this number. The costumes and choreography go great together. The group places first. Mackenzie and Nia do a duet which was awesome and placed first. Brooke and Paige were supposed to do solos, but Kelly decided to pull them.
Paige is running her solo in the green room, and Abby can't even have the decency to look up from her laptop. With Maddie doing her solo, Paige is just non-existent to Abby. And Paige knows it. Why is she dancing? Is she in our age? Why is Maddie dancing? Why is Maddie dancing?
Yep.
Watch.
Nothing against you, Matt. I'm just saying they need to give my kids more time to.
Oh, I agree.
Has nothing to do with you. I am just getting more and more pissed off. My girls were the ones that had solos this week. Abby should have been working with them all week instead of throwing chairs.
Somebody looks nervous.
You know, it was my girls' week. They finally got a solo. She needed to work with them, and she didn't. I'm done, and so are my daughters, and I am not letting them on that stage.
Chloe does a solo called Unchained, which places third. Maddie also does her solo from a couple episodes ago and places second. During her solo, her music skips. The moms wonder if it was done intentionally. This episode had a lot of drama. Melissa snitched on a 10-year-old, which isn't cool. She snitched on Chloe for going to the movies. Most of the drama was surrounding the costumes for the group dance. The group dance is called Silver Spoon. I'm not too sure what to think about this routine. Some of the costumes were too small while others were too big. It was a whole thing.
So obviously the girl wearing the green is going to stand out, and that was Paige. And apparently that couldn't happen.
Paige, put the pink on that your sister has on.
The pink is too
Oh,
big.
the pink is too big.
Way too big. That's like a large. Yeah. The green one's the right size for her.
But it's Paige. She doesn't matter.
Paige, turn around. Let me see that on you. What size is yours?
I'm not fixing that costume.
Chloe and Brooke switch. So the obvious choice was to take Chloe, who starts the routine stage left all by herself, and put her in the different color. She has to wear the green dress.
And the green doesn't fit Chloe either. It's too small.
Yeah.
No, but she'll have one wear a costume too big and one wear a costume too small, just so my daughter does.
Fun fact, Kendall was in this dance even though the show made it look like she wasn't. There was also a lot of questions surrounding Maddie's music skipping in the last episode, resulting in Melissa asking Abby if she cheated for Maddie.
We were told by you on the phone to Kelly that Maddie practiced with her music like that and she knew to keep dancing.
The day after Maddie's music skipped, I talked to Melissa on the phone, and she admitted to me that if Maddie's music skipped, she was instructed to keep on dancing.
So make my daughter look bad again.
No, we're telling you that you look bad.
Okay.
Because you have said that it's okay to lie and cheat as long as you win and you get your way. And you know what? That's not something that any of us want to teach our kids.
My daughter did not practice to music like that.
Melissa, I really have a hard time believing you.
Oh, well, someone here is lying. If Abby set that up, that would be pretty despicable.
That's
But how can you do that?
It's
I don't know. I have no idea, but that would be really
I
low.
didn't do anything of the sort. I would never cheat.
The moms accused Abby of causing my daughter's music to skip. That's like sabotage.
Go back. Let's try it one time.
I need to speak to Abby about the situation, and I need to get to the bottom of it.
You'd have to ask her.
Oh, I will. I guarantee it. I'm not happy about this.
I want to see the together stuff. I want to see the timing.
Really, really important. The kids need to leave. I really need to talk. Abby, I don't care. I need to talk to you. Please, girls, go real quick. Very quickly. Go.
I walk into the studio, and Maddie and Chloe are practicing. Maddie is mad at me that I walk into the studio, and I really don't care. I need to get to the bottom of this.
Melissa's in there talking to Abby. You went tattle on us.
What do you think she's saying?
Maybe she's not talking about it.
Oh, God.
After we
And
just
she's
finished
gonna say,
saying, don't
they're
talk.
just jealous. Melissa once again storms off to go tattle on us to Abby. If she really felt strongly that she didn't do what Kelly was saying she did, then stay and defend yourself. Don't go run and tattle on us to Abby.
These mothers are calling my daughter a cheater for last weekend. They said that she practiced her dance with that music. Did you cheat for my daughter?
Absolutely not. You would never send a child intentionally on stage with a bad CD. That makes me look bad. I've been doing this for 32 years. Women, wake up. I have
That would
stickers all over
my daughter's career. I would never let my daughter cheat.
Wait a second. Your daughter's career? How about my name?
I know.
How about my reputation?
I know it's your reputation,
Look
but
at
my
what's
daughter's
labeling her. You just fell into the same pot with them.
I'm sorry, because they're calling my daughter a cheater. I don't want my daughter to be labeled as a cheater.
She's not.
I don't want you to give her special treatment, or I'm pissed. I'm done.
Melissa,
We do
she's
this all
once
again.
again jealous that your kid won. Don't you get it?
Oh, okay, well, I'm not happy.
Toughen up, Melissa.
Chloe and Maddie done a duet that was so good. The duet got second, which I don't agree with. Nia done a solo called Bound to her costume, and dancing was amazing, but she only placed 9th. Maddie also done a solo called Helen Keller, which placed 4th. Mackenzie done a solo called Daisy Chains, which was adorable, and she even got a crown for it. This episode was crazy. Abby signs Maddie up for both of Star Power's 25th anniversary competitions. She tells Melissa that this is a secret between only her and Abby, that no one else should know.
Maddie, I want you to come in and rehearse this morning. I have no idea why.
Stomach tight. Use your abs. Double PK. Push PK.
Maddie and I show up at rehearsal, and no one else is there.
Turn it out. I'm always looking for more opportunities for Maddie. star power is so big that they've split up the competition. One is at one venue, the other one is down the street at a completely different high school auditorium. Okay, watch these arms that are, make sure you're using your arms. So I started to think, could I take somebody and enter them in the other competition too? Lo and behold, they said, sure, but you can't do the same number. I'm trying to do something that I've never done before. Having a kid in 2 titles in 2 hours, take advantage of every opportunity. Maddie knows some old routines, so I think maybe do the cry number. Now, Melissa, you understand this is nobody's business but ours. Right. I don't want any other mother down my throat about how come you get to go and how come not everybody else gets to go. Our secret. I am banking on this kid knowing that routine. Maddie, this is your year. This is your moment to shine. You're going to win everything.
Peyton is also brought back for the group dance called The Huntress. It's inspired by the Hunger Games. I don't really like this routine if I'm being honest. During rehearsals for this dance, Peyton breaks her finger. Chloe does a solo called What Goes Around. She danced amazing and got 4th. Maddie's first solo is called Looking for a Place Called Home. One of my favorite Maddie routines. Her expressions are great. She gets 1st. Her second solo is Season 1's Cry Routine. She placed 2nd for this but won the crown because the first place wasn't entered to win the crown. Abby and the girls are out for revenge when they go up against Kathy and her candy apples for the first time in the new competition season. In order to beat Abby, Kathy hires 2 professional choreographers to help with the week's dances, and since Kathy uses older girls in her group dances, Abby brings in 3 older girls to dance in the group dance in order to level the playing field. Meanwhile, after it was pulled twice, Paige finally gets a chance to perform her tongue twister solo, but Kelly thinks that the level of difficulty isn't high enough and secretly Ray choreographs the dance. In addition, Jill worries that Kathy has lost interest in Kendall and begins to regret her decision of transferring Kendall to Candy Apple's dance center. The group dance is called Land Unforgiving. Not my favorite number. It placed 5th. Chloe has a solo called Angry Bird. This number was great and her costume definitely made this routine. She placed 6th. The Candy Apples group dance was called Asian Empire, and once again Vivienne was used as a human prop. This dance didn't place. Kelly's birthday party turns into a disaster when a fight breaks out between Christy and Leslie.
Really excited to see her. Are you gonna bully us? Because I feel like every time we're up in the viewing room, every time we say something, you're like jumping down.
You know, I just talk loud. My voice gets loud. It's not bullying, it's how I talk. I'm here to enjoy myself this week and to watch the girls and enjoy them dance. And everyone
really
claims
don't
that
want to
they're
be
bullied.
bullied all week.
I'm loud.
I felt like I've been dealing with it all week. I really don't.
I'm not bullying you.
Shut up quite a few times.
No, because sometimes I just wish you would.
Well, I wish you would. I really wish you would.
Well, I take bullying very seriously.
And I do too, and I'm not doing it, so I'm just so sick of you guys accusing me of it.
I think what the issue is at times, Leslie, is that the tone of what you're saying is very intense.
You're sitting here listening to this woman, this drunk, say what she's saying, and you're sitting
Call me a drunk again. I guess I just got a little sick and tired of her constant telling us why she belongs, why Peyton belongs, why we need to accept her, why we need to like her. You know what? I have a whole list of reasons why I don't, and I need to let you know. I can't tell you how many people have said that they have seen you at competition standing there with your beer bottle and your cigarette. You are nothing but an intimidating bitch. I don't know if I was pissed that Leslie had been treating us crappy all week, or that she was ruining the party. All I know is I didn't want to see her face any longer. Shoot! Go away.
Guess what? You got it.
I think we're a really hard group to be accepted into because we've been together for so long and we have so much history.
Oh, don't cry. Oh, don't.
Abby arranges for the girls to audition for Drop Dead Diva. Leslie works to get her daughter Peyton a solo, and Brooke faces tough competition from a teammate. The group dance was called All Kids Go. It placed first Mackenzie. Nia and Paige has a trio which placed fifth. Brooke and Peyton were put against each other in teen solo. Brooke placed second and Peyton placed seventh. There was also another Maddie Chloe showdown with Maddie placing first and Chloe placing fourth. Jill and Kendall returned to the Abby Lee Dance Company. The mothers learned that Maddie landed the role on Drop Dead Diva. Paige has a serious injury. Nia was the crowd with a solo number. Nick Dobbs joins the group dance. Abby shows off Maddie's crowns to the other girls. To Maddie's embarrassment, the group is called Twilight and involves a boy this week. The routine was really good and I liked the song. It placed first. Nia had a solo called Working Girl. It placed ninth. She slayed the routine but deserved so much more. Paige also had a solo. She placed sixth, and of course Maddie had a solo. I'm sure everyone can guess where she placed. Paige suffers an injury that takes her out of the team for a few weeks.
See, Paige, Brooke, and Nick. Let's go. I want to see your standing back tuck.
Oh, easy. Oh, I'll do mine too. Ready?
No, do not do your standing back.
Can I try it? Sorry?
No, this is cement underneath the tarpaulin.
Paige, do not do it.
Well, then do it. Let's go. I want to eat my lunch. You better do it. Paige hurts her foot. I just can't win.
Can you curl your toes? Did you come down on it this way or digging it? Digging it.
Paige is really upset about her foot. I'm surprised she's not crying.
Okay, well, don't tape her. You're not in the dance. You gotta get the foot checked. Paige could have been in that group, but you know what? I can't risk her injuring herself any further. All right, we have Paige out by default with an injury.
It's my hope that if Paige can't dance with these kids, Abby's gonna need Kendall.
Jill is all too happy as this gives Kendall a chance to join the team as a replacement for Paige.
Hi, Paigey. How are you? What happened?
It's broke.
How long are you out for?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks? Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Right at summertime, you go in. So you weren't in here for Pyramid?
No, I was at the doctor's.
You don't know who's on top, what's going down this week?
Me and Chloe were supposed to have our duet.
Now you can't dance it? Did she tell you who's going to be in it instead?
She said that Clay might be doing a solo.
That's all right. There'll be other duets in your future. It happens all the time on dance teams. Unfortunate for Paige, fortunate for Kendall.
Maddie is all ready for her guest role on Drop Dead Diva. The group dance this week is called Alouette. This is probably one of my favorite dances from the show. I just like how the choreography and the song go together so nicely. The group places first. Chloe and Kendall do a duet called Chasing Answers, which placed first. Brooke was supposed to do a solo about the Diary of Anne Frank, but it got pulled. Mackenzie done a solo called You Know You Love It. It was adorable. She placed second. Maddie also done a solo called This Is Me Over You. I really like the music to this dance. She placed first. When Kathy learns her dance, Mom, Jill, and daughter Kendall have gone back to the Abby Lee Dance Company. She plots her revenge at the next competition. After Abby discovers that Kathy's dancers will be there, she asks Maddie to do a solo, but Maddie turns down the opportunity when Melissa says no to the last-minute addition.
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Em.
Hi, Ken. You girls go ahead and get ready. I want to talk to you for a second. Melissa waltzes into the studio like nothing happened yesterday. At the very least, I think that woman owes me an explanation. I need to know where were you yesterday and why the girls weren't here.
I was not here. I don't have to be here. I know Abby's upset, but I don't need to be here when my kids are dancing, and I'm just sick of being bullied by the moms. My kids take care of themselves, and they're here on time. So I'm not playing games.
Okay, well, I'm not playing games either. Maddie's doing a solo this weekend. Yes, she is. You signed a contract with me.
Abby just needs to know giving my daughter a solo the night before a competition is just too much pressure.
I was wondering what that was going on.
Hey, welcome back.
You gotta fix yourself.
Can I go?
No, because Abby's going to tell you you're doing a solo, and you're not.
You know, it's funny. When Chloe misses rehearsal, she's screamed at. But when Maddie misses, she's rewarded with a solo. Double standard?
Girls, come on, let's go. I need you to studio in. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
The group dance is called Taken. It was good and clean. It placed first. Mackenzie and Kendall done a duet called Reservation for Today also placed first. Chloe's solo against Justice places second and Justice placed first. Now the pressure to win the solo category falls completely on Chloe. The Candy Apples duet places second and their group placed third. I don't even know what the group was supposed to be about, hair or something. Episode 23 is a recital episode. Not much happens. The girls learn a new hip-hop routine called Light My Fire. Leslie and Peyton are back again and Leslie starts some more drama.
Abby, did you see the lineup that Peyton's in? She can't do that. No, there's no way.
Can you take care of her? We understand. We're fixing it, but we can't fix it right this second. We have to wait till we have a break.
I get that.
Everybody here is getting paid.
I get that, but this is my schedule too that I have.
I know, but you shouldn't even be in here because right now you're wasting my time. Leslie couldn't wait till I figured it out that we needed another number added in so that Peyton can make a change. No. This is just not all about her. It's about all the kids.
No, it's about whether she can make it on stage in one number. That's what it's about.
Well, she better make it on stage in one number.
If every other number? You have her in one number before that with ballet. I just came up and asked you to correct the lineup. That's
I know,
all.
but you have a smart-ass mouth.
No, I didn't. You turned it into that way.
You shouldn't be in here. This is off limits.
I got what I accomplished,
Go.
and now I will go. Thank you for changing
James.
it.
No parents, right?
The moms go out partying and end up seeing a male stripper, which is hilarious.
Be around me at all at the recital, I decided it was time to celebrate. We're pouring drinks, we're enjoying the company and the eye candy. This actually turned out to be a really good night.
Here, put this in your kitty.
Thank you.
We had fun.
I don't think I can do any more stuff.
After the week we've had, we all really just need a night to let loose. Thankfully, Leslie's not coming back.
The arrival of a new dance mom and her daughter create a huge stir amongst the girls and the dance moms. With her broken foot healed, Paige gets the go-ahead from the doctor to dance in this week's important competition. This is the episode Black Patsy is introduced to dance moms. Her daughter Nikaya joins the team this week. Paige visits the doctor and is finally allowed to dance again. Brooke uploads her first song to YouTube and Christy and Black Patsy get into a huge argument.
You are phony as hell.
So are you. I'm not.
You know what I see? You're fake.
At all. Who I am is exactly who I come across as.
Yeah, a bitch. That's what you are, and I know you own it.
You don't know a thing, bitch.
I'll be that bitch.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out then.
You want to watch your mouth, because I ain't the rest of these dance mamas. I'm not a doctor like Holly Boo. I'm from the hood. Believe that.
Abby, are you gonna let this happen?
Bitter.
I can't. I don't use foul
You're
language.
darn right we're bitter.
I don't know how you work with these parents.
Abby also decides to get Nikaya and Paige to battle it out, which makes Kelly storm out.
Spread apart. Let's go. This piece is very important to the Abby Lee Dance Company. I'm excited about it. I love it. I think this could be a winner. You move out of there for right now. All right, let's go. Get on the line. Nikaya's been there every minute. So I want to see what the group looks like. Nikaya, stand in Paige's spot. That's it. All right, let me see. You out, you in. Go.
I'm watching rehearsal, and it's like Abby's playing games. Paige will do the dance one time, and then Nikaya does it the next time. Please tell me who is on the team here.
That's her turning foot that's hurt.
Oh.
It's her left foot. Look, it doesn't point like the right foot.
All right, you're both boring. Boring.
My foot's really bothering me in rehearsal, so I just hope Miss Abby lets me take it easy.
Hey, Peanut.
How's your foot?
I'm so sorry. Is your foot okay?
What's the matter? It kind of hurts whenever I I step on it and I do the kick.
You need to say, Miss Abby, it hurts when I step on it and fan kick. Can I just mark that until I'm on stage? She will say yes. This is your first day of not having a cast on your foot. Paige has waited for 4 weeks to get this boot off of her foot. And Abby keeps pulling her to put someone else in the dance.
All right, ladies, I want you all to know that Paige just came to me and said, can she mark the fan kick because it hurts her supporting foot. I'm just letting Paige sit out during rehearsal because her foot is still bothering her. I'm not replacing her, but if that foot still hurts come competition time, I will. The show must go on, and it's gonna happen no matter who's out there dancing. If she's injured, she shouldn't be on stage. She should save it till she's ready.
One part of me wants to go down there and just knock somebody out. So I excuse myself. I'm done.
Once again, Kelly overreacts and throws a hissy fit. Well, you know what, Kelly? The reason I keep bringing new moms and new kids into the studio is because of behavior like...
The group dance this week reminds me of Where Have All the Children Gone? It's called I Can See the Kite Flying, it placed first. Chloe does a solo called Glitz and Glamour, she placed 5th. Nia does a solo that is called 20s Scat, she placed 10th. Mackenzie's solo called Hollywood placed 3rd. Each girl performs a solo for Abby to determine who will compete at nationals. Meanwhile, Melissa tries to sign her daughters with an agency, and Kelly helps Brooke with her singing career. Brooke's solo is called Fly, she placed 4th. Chloe's solo Ghost placed 6th. Kendall's solo Kiss Kiss placed 5th. Mackenzie's solo It's a Perfect Day for Fun placed 1st. Nia and Paige didn't place with their solos and Maddie placed 1st. The season finale concludes with the dancers competing for a national title in Beverly Hills, but the team is shaken when Abby forces Chloe, Kendall, and Nia to compete for a solo spot. We're at nationals. This is one of my top 5 episodes. I love the group dance in this episode, it's honestly iconic. Also, the Candy Apples are back and hoping to win. Abby makes some of the team members compete for a solo at nationals, but we all know she already knew who was dancing. It was obviously Chloe's solo. Brooke's solo is The Diary of Anne Frank, she placed 1st. Abby had Mackenzie do the B solo just to annoy Kathy and she rocked it placing 1st. A Maddie-Chloe showdown took place. Maddie doing a solo called Telling Myself and placing 2nd, while Chloe's solo, Silence, placing 1st. Not Gonna Lie screamed when this happened. Justice also does a solo, placing 3rd behind Chloe and Maddie. The Candy Apples group routine was called The Storm and it didn't place. The ALDC, however, their group dance was amazing. The infamous The Last Text dance that even made Kathy speechless. Obviously ALDC came out on top. Well, that's the end of Season 2. All in all, a good season. Most of the dances for me weren't that memorable, but a great season nonetheless.